I believe everyone has a story to tell. And I believe everyone deserves a little pampering. Welcome to Mannies with Grannies. I'm your host, Tiffany Marino. Join me while I sit down with a woman over 70 and get to know her while giving her a manicure. You can put your hands in here if they just go right like that.
What if I don't want to put them in there? They'll shrink.
Oh, because you don't like the water, right?
No, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
I was just telling my sad tale of my crappy teenage cousin pushing me in a pool. And when I got out and hit him, he pushed me in again and held me under. My dad and his brothers were all good friends, and the whole family was on a picnic over in Allegheny State Park. I didn't want to go in the pool because I didn't swim. And my older brother said, well, give me a few minutes and I'll teach you the basics. Well, before he could do that, Lynn came along and pushed me in, and I got out and I hit him right in the middle of the back with my fist, pushed me in and held me under. My brother saw him. He pulled him out by his hair. Yes, Lynn was not too happy with me. He blamed it all on me. He did. My hair, he pulled out my hair. And too bad, you old brat. Actually, I didn't call him brat. I called him way worse than that.
Did you and Lynn have that kind of relationship?
No, he was just a shithead. Yes, I use the term loosely. Well, he didn't fit in the family. I felt kind of sorry for him. Mary Ann was the girl, so she was okay. Larry was the studious one, and Lynn was a teenager, and his mother didn't like that. He was rowdy and had got into trouble sometimes with the rest of the boys, and nothing bad, and she treated him like that.
How did you fit into your family?
I was the girl. I had an older brother and a younger brother. We got along okay.
Here, we can take your hands out of here. I want to welcome everybody to this episode of Mannies with Grannies. Today I'm here with Betty, and I'm already enjoying getting to know her. So what was it like being the middle sister?
It was good and bad. My older brother was nicer to me, and my younger brother was and still is a brat.
Where did you grow up?
Bradford. Do you know where Bradford is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's really nice. It's a lot of history in that area.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
What were your parents like?
Mean and ornery. Wouldn't let me do things I wanted to do. No, my parents were very nice, actually. My dad had a much better sense of humor than my mom did, but she was all right. She taught me how to cook, and oh my gosh, I wish I could cook like she did.
What were some of your favorite dishes that she cooked?
Well, the one I can do is meatloaf, and you bake it with gravy.
That sounds good. Were you married?
Yes. He died a couple of years ago.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. What's your husband's name?
Chris.
How did you and Chris meet?
High school. Actually, junior high school, but yeah, in school.
What age did you start seeing each other?
After school, because when we were in high school, I didn't like him. He was a brat. He was one of the rowdy boys, and I lived with two of them growing up, so I didn't need another one.
How did he end up winning you over?
I'm not sure. We talked about that one time, and neither one of us could think of a reason.
Do you remember how he asked you out the first time?
No, I don't.
Or how he proposed?
Well, how he proposed is he asked me if I wanted to get married, and we went to Pittsburgh to look for a ring, and we went into this, lovely jewelry shop, and the guy asked what we wanted, and Chris said, well, we want something special. I go, whoa, where did this guy come from? And the man laid out a black velvet cloth and poured a handful of diamonds on it. Did you ever see that done? I almost wet myself. Holy cow. It was beautiful. And then I picked out the ring I wanted and the diamond, and I put them together. It was a wide band, and some son of a gun stole it from me a few months ago. Yeah. I'm not even sure how or where he got it, but yeah, he took it. He, she.
That's horrible.
Yeah, because he had, and I still have it on because it was a pretty, pretty ring.
Yeah, I bet. What was your wedding day like?
Nice, because it was in the fall, and it wasn't too hot, and it didn't rain, didn't snow. Nobody had a fight. I've been to a couple of weddings, a couple of guys would get in a fight. That's so stupid.
How old were you when you got married?
21.
What did your dress look like?
Sheath dress, full length, very low, scoop neck, long sleeves.
Did you go on a honeymoon?
No.
Before you got married, did you have a house set up to live in together?
No, because he was going in the Navy, and so we knew we wouldn't be buying. We would have naval military housing, though we didn't. That was wonderful. You want to go into military housing? Yeah. The cockroaches were bigger than this coffee cup. Ugh. In South Carolina. Yeah. They were the people that lived down there. Said, well, they won't hurt you. I don't care. They're ugly looking. You ever seen a cockroach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care to, though.
No,
Was South Carolina the first place that you moved after you got married?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. was the only place we went. And then we came back here.
How long did you live there?
A year and a half, thereabouts.
Did you like it?
No, too hot. It was like being in a sauna. I like the people, some really nice people. One girl, oh, she was so sweet and she was so stupid. Not in a bad way, just that she was very sheltered and uneducated. And she would believe anything you told her. And my husband used to tell her some of the most horrendous things. And she'd always look at me and say, Betty, no, Mary. He's just pulling your leg. What I found interesting and terrible, I was a nurse. I'd just gotten out of nursing school, and I got a job, which was very nice. And they were so... I thought that was only stories about how people acted towards blacks and those not as well-to-do as they were. No, it's not. It was very much like some of those crazy novels I read.
With racism?
Racism and poverty. If you were in a certain economic level, then maybe they'd step on you if they walked by, but they didn't want to get anything on their shoes. They wouldn't. There were a lot of nice people, too, but I think there were more of the other kind.
Did that have any kind of effect on you?
No, I just tried to be like my mother taught me, and be nice to people. Be nice to people, and they'll be nice to you. And I made two very good friends, one an older woman who was an exotic dancer. Yeah. He grinned at that.
I bet he did.
She was a redhead. She was just one of the niftiest. And oh gosh, could she cook? She liked to cook, and she'd literally been all over the world. And she used to cook dinner for us. Like, why don't you come for dinner tonight? Be right there. What time? And she loved my child. She was not able to have babies, and so she spoiled the heck out of Jennifer, who was born while we were there. Jennifer loved it. She had 3 sets of parents, well, 3.5. One of the guys on Chris's ship, his wife didn't want kids, and he really liked kids. He used to call, is Jennifer up? Yeah. Can I come over? Yes, Mike, you can come over. And he'd come over, he'd lay on the floor and play with her for an hour or so and go back to the ship.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Was that community hard to move away from when you moved back here?
No, because I did not like the South. I'm too outspoken, and I'm not a lady by any stretch of the imagination.
So is that getting you in trouble?
Well, not anything serious, just... He probably doesn't know, but you know the look you get from women or know that you're beneath them. Yeah, got that a lot. Every once in a while, if it was someone who was really a snotty person, I'd stick my tongue out at her. Oh my gosh. And she just, did you see what she did? Yes, I did. But they were just so, I don't know what the word is. I tried to find it over the years, never did find it. They just were, well, they were ignorant for one thing and chose not to learn anything different. I think that was the big thing that bugged me. But then again, there were a whole lot of very nice people.
You said that you went to nursing school and became a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
How did you decide to become a nurse?
I don't know. This seemed like something I'd like to do. I didn't want to be a school teacher. And back in those days, that's what you did. You were a nurse or a teacher.
And then how long did you end up being a nurse?
Until my husband died.
A long time.
Yeah.
What kind of nursing did you do?
Just general nursing.
Do you have any stories from your nursing days?
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell them. They'll put me in jail. No, nothing drastic. No, just met a lot of nice people, met a couple stinky people.
It's tough work.
It is, but it didn't have to be because some were so, the ones I didn't like were nurse, nurse, and then she'd snap her fingers. Mm-hmm. Lady, don't snap your fingers at me. I will hurt you. Roll over. I've got to give you a shot.
It seems like you have a good sense of humor.
Have to. My dad and his brothers were all very close, and on weekends, the whole family would go to Allegheny State Park for a picnic, and we'd be there all day, late into the night. It got so that the Rangers knew who we were, and they let us stay way past curfew. We'd build a fire in one of the little pits and sit around. They'd take blankets and straw for the kids and throw them on the ground, and we'd throw us on the ground, and when they got ready to go home, they'd pack up whatever kid was theirs, and we'd go home.
That sounds fun.
It was very nice.
What was the best part of growing up in this area?
My best part was being able to just wander. I used to like to wander around and hike through the woods and such. I liked Los Angeles for the very short time I lived there, but I didn't like it enough to stay.
When did you live in Los Angeles?
It would have been the early 60s because it was before Jennifer was born. Worked in Bullock's department store.
What did you do there?
Sales clerk.
What did you think of living in LA?
I'm not there, am I? It was interesting, and I'm glad I did. A girlfriend and I, another girl from Bradford, and I went and had a real good time. My brother and sister-in-law let us move in with them so we would be cared for because it was a big city. And it was scary to us. I mean, you've been to Bradford?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've been to LA.
Okay, that was my next question. Yeah, way different.
Worlds apart.
Yes. I'm glad I went because I got to know something I would not have known otherwise.
What's that?
Just the big city and the attitude of the people, and that there are some nice people no matter where you go.
Do you think that moving to South Carolina and LA before that helped you appreciate your hometown?
Oh, yeah.
So after you moved back from South Carolina, is that when you found the home in the woods?
No, it was a while later, a couple of years, I think, after that. Chris got a job at Penelec, and we lived in Bradford.
How did you find the house at the end of the dirt road?
I would read the newspaper at houses, and this one was in the want ads one day, and oh, geez, Louise, was he a grouchy old guy? And I asked him, we can come and look. I suppose you can. Well, if you don't want to sell it, that's fine. But we went and we looked at it, and we both said, okay, this is it. This is where we want to be. The farmhouse, which we bought, and that little house next door, it was way too fancy to be back there at the end of a dirt road. The guy had money, and he also was crazier than an outhouse rat. Yeah, he was strange, but I loved it. In fact, I still have the house. My daughter was going to sell it recently. No, I'm going to die there.
She doesn't want to move in?
Oh, gosh, no. She just wanted to get rid of it so she wouldn't have to be bothered with it.
Do you have just the one daughter?
Daughter and a son.
So your daughter's name's Jennifer. What's your son's name?
Jason.
How did you come up with their names?
I don't know. We talked about that one time, and I have no idea where I came up with them. When I was having kids, I knew those were the two names I wanted.
Do you know if you were named after anyone?
Yes and no, I wasn't.
The name your parents liked at the time?
My dad did, yeah.
Your dad named you?
Uh-huh. Put an E on the end of Betty.
Do you remember finding out you were pregnant for the first time?
No, I don't. I know I found out, of course, but I don't remember any significant thing about it. Yeah, I just found out I was pregnant and told Fremont, and he said, okay, we probably should buy a bigger house then. Yeah, we should, Chris.
How close in age are your kids?
3 years.
Did they get along growing up?
They still get along.
That's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He used to, oh my gosh. If she could have killed him back in the day, she would have. He's tall. He's 6'3", 6'4", and he would run at her and pick her up and throw her over his shoulder and yell, "Walrus woman!" And he'd take off down the street or down the road with her, and she'd be screaming. I'd be laughing too hard to help her.
What was your favorite part of motherhood?
Just enjoying them when we did, because I got along with both of them. Not always. That would be dull and boring. But yeah, I got along with my kids. We did stuff together.
What was your favorite thing to do together?
I didn't have any favorite. There were several things that I liked doing with them. One of the things, we'd just go over to State Park and take a picnic and that kind of stuff.
What do you think was the hardest part of motherhood?
Disciplining. Because I knew they had to be disciplined, but I didn't want to be the mean, wicked witch of the West, so I had to find a center space somewhere. I don't know that I always did, but I tried.
Did Chris do any of the disciplining?
Oh, yeah.
What was he like as a father?
He sadly was like his father. Raising the children is mom's work. He and Jason hunted together, and he and Jennifer did things together, like a movie or something like that.
Did you work at the same time as raising kids?
Not at first, not when they were little. I refused because my mother had to work when I was little, and I didn't like that.
What did that mean to you to be able to stay home with the kids?
I just liked it. It felt right.
What were you like as a teenager?
Pain in the butt.
Why do you say that?
I don't really know. You'd have to ask somebody else. I think I was fair to middle. I was okay. I wasn't a brat. I know that because I didn't like being picked on myself, so I tried to behave likewise. And I helped around the house because that was expected. I don't know if kids still have to help their parents clean and such, but I know we did. And my parents were very good about letting me use the car for things at school because we lived out of town several miles, and they'd let me take the car to school if there was a project. And it was better than them driving me in and then coming back and getting me 4 hours later, so we did that.
Do you remember what kind of car the family had?
Always something in the Chrysler line.
Do you remember getting your driver's license?
I failed my test the first time around on something really, really stupid. And when I got back to school, one of the guys that picked on me all the time, I never picked on him because I was a good kid. He said, "So what happened?" And I said, "I failed it." Oh, he made a song about me flunking my driver's test. Yeah, I still spoke to him afterwards. Of course, I also told his mother.
I'm not convinced he didn't have a crush on you.
No, he didn't. We were just buds. It would have seemed incestuous, I think, if I dated him.
Did Chris have a good sense of humor?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like to be your life partner, you'd have to.
It wasn't as warped as mine, but yeah, it was still flexible. I think his mother had a hard time accepting me because she was a lady of the old school. Very prim and very proper. I was not, and I'm still not.
Did you have a relationship with her?
Not a good one, no. We were cordial, I think, is about as close as you could get, yeah. She didn't have a great sense of humor either, which I thought was sad, because her husband did. Joe and I got along beautifully, and we could kid each other. And Gladys, she and I just didn't make it, which is fine. She preferred her daughter behavior, the teacup and the sugar cookie in the other hand. Yeah. And I was no teacup and sugar cooker lady. But my in-laws were very good to me. Oh, Joe's mother was so funny. Gosh, she was in her late 80s, I think, when I met her. And the boys, Chris and a couple of his friends, got in trouble somewhere. We were out bar hopping is where they got in trouble. And Chris turned around and asked me a question. And she, Betty, you were in a saloon? Yes, ma'am. Our relationship went in the dumper right there. Yes, she did. She would speak to me after that, but that was about it. Ladies didn't go. I could have told her I wasn't a lady to begin with. Well, my dad, all his brothers had boys. One brother had a girl, and he had a girl, and the rest of them had boys. So Mary Ann and I were stuck with all those wretched, icky guys all the time because they got together a lot. No, neither Mary Ann. She was the only other girl in the whole family, and all they had were boys.
Do you want to pick a nail color?
What are those on the top that look beigey?
This one here has a little sparkle to it. This one's a little more gray. It's pretty.
Let's try that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah, it does. I like that color. Nice for the fall. Betty, what's your age?
81.
How does it feel to be 81?
Lucky.
Thinking back over your life, is there a time in your life that was the best, like a favorite age?
No, I had favorite spots, different places. One of the ones I liked was getting in my car and driving to California. We stayed out there for a while, got jobs. It was really nice because my brother and his wife took us in because my older brother was afraid that, we'd get kidnapped. And my dad said, if anybody kidnaps the two of them, he'll bring them right back. Don't worry. They lived down the street from one of the best pizzerias in the neighborhood back in those days. We would get off work at a department store down in inner LA. Gosh, I hated the city. It was too big, too many cars, too many really strange people. But we would go, and a lot of times we'd come home, if we were of in mind. We'd go past the apartment and up the road to the pizza place, and we'd walk in. As soon as we'd come through the door, somebody would yell, "The girls are here, make a pizza." And someone would make us a pizza, cut it up, we'd eat it, and we'd go home. And I don't know who paid for it, but we never did. It was fun, yeah.
What was the planning like when you decided to move to LA?
There was no planning. No. Riley and I were bored. Neither one of us liked the jobs we had in Bradford. She knew somebody who'd done that, and the girl liked it and was still there. And she said, "You want to go to California case?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" I told my mother, and she said, "Okay, you better make sure you have enough money because I'm not coming after you." Okay. I stayed out there for several months, and then Chris came out and got me.
What did it feel like on the car ride there?
Fun. We had a great deal of fun.
Were you nervous at all?
I don't think we're smart enough to be nervous. We were careful. I know that much, yeah. We were careful because a couple times we got waylaid by guys, and we said, "Okay, we'll meet you later after we do some errands. Where do you want us to meet you?" And they'd say here, and we'd go right down the road. None of them ever chased us, so they couldn't have been too upset.
Do you remember what kind of car you drove?
A little bathtub. Riley had been in a car accident, and part of her settlement was a car, and it was this little square car, real pretty dark green. That was what she got out of the settlement because she had injuries that marred her body, and they were not bad at all, but the powers that be said they were, so yeah.
I can't imagine what the 60s were like in LA.
They were busy, I think is a good word for it, yeah. There was always something going on. I was glad I had the protection of my brother because there was lots of iffy stuff going on as well.
Why did he move out to LA?
He had a job, really good job. He's an electrical engineer, and he found a job there. And
I wonder how, now we rely on the internet. That's how I would find a new job and move somewhere else. But back then, how would he have found a job in LA from Bradford?
There was I don't know what to call it.
Like a listing board or something?
It could be, yeah, something like that.
Okay.
He found a job.
And he just saw this job in LA and thought, that's a good job. I'm going to go. Wow. That seems like a big deal.
Yeah,
when he left, did it feel like a big deal to you?
Not really, because he wasn't living at home at then. He was married by then, and and the wife went with.
Do you have any advice for young people?
As this old gentleman used to tell, an old Italian guy that my mother knew, she was friends with his daughter when they were kids. Listen to your mother, Betty Lou. Listen to your mother. And by listening to my mother a couple times, it kept my butt out of a sling. So I didn't always listen, but I listened more than I wanted to.
What's your opinion on getting older?
As long as I stay healthy, it's okay. And the arthritis I've had since I was a kid, so that's nothing that was brand new. I do wish that would go away. But I can tell you if it's going to rain when I get out of bed in the morning. I used to think that was funny. I don't anymore.
That's like a hidden talent. Do you have any other hidden talents?
None whatsoever.
You never learned how to play a musical instrument or anything?
We were in church one time, and my then 3-year-old pulled on my pants. He said, "Mommy, don't you sing. You don't sing good." So I quit singing in church. He bought me a little cart that I push around because he's a cop up in Maine. And he says when he goes to the nursing home stuff, he notices the ladies that do best have those little push carts with a basket in front. So he got me one of those, and that's really handy.
That's nice of him.
Yeah, he is a nice kid. Both of my kids are nice kids.
What do you think is the key to raising good kids?
Listen to them. Don't always agree with them, because if you give in every time, then you're not going to be happy, and neither are they. I guess basically just listen to them. You don't have to agree. It's a pretty color, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's different. I like it. I'm thinking I might do my nails that color. What are you looking forward to?
I'd like to do another trip driving out through the West, find a congenial person to go with me and do like we did. First time it took a month. We kept a map, and my brother, when he saw it, he said, maps are kind of sort of, so you go like this. Not like this. I said, we liked our way better.
So you made a lot of stops on the way.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, and I've driven across 3 times now. I discovered I like turquoise. And if you drive through the reservation, oh, mercy, do they have turquoise. And the prices are just so reasonable. I think my grandfather bought me my first piece of turquoise, and a little stone in the middle of it. And it was, I don't know, the head of a pin. I still have that, yeah. I have a squash blossom. That I love. I bought it on the reservation. I had a friend that when she saw it, she said, "You bought it on the reservation?" She said, "What if they cheated you?" I said, "If they cheated me, they were entitled. After all, they've gotten screwed over the years." And I said, I was happy with the price, and they were happy with the price. So we both walked away thinking we made a deal.
How did you feel when you arrived in California?
Glad that somebody had a real bed because we pup tented it out. There's a lot of nice campgrounds, government campgrounds along the way, and they're very nice, and they're guarded at night. So that's why we chose them. You know, sometimes we'd stop early in the afternoon or early in the evening, and sometimes it'd be later, but we didn't have any schedule. And Riley and I both liked that.
Did she stay in LA after you moved?
Yeah, she did for a while. Do you ever chuckle to yourself some of the things that the ladies tell her?
Yeah, I chuckled a bunch today.
Smart ass. How did you get into this?
I lost my grandmother a few years ago, and I really miss her a lot. And this is what I do.
I'm not laughing about that. I met a nurse 100 years ago, and somebody, not me, because my mother taught me not to use that phrase. They were talking about an older relative, and the girl said, "Well, I lost her." And some old guy sat up in his bed and, like hell, she died. She's dead, dead, dead. You didn't lose anybody. You know right where she is. So ever since then, when someone says they lost their father, their grandfather stuff, yeah, that comes to mind because it was just so funny. It was kind of sad, actually, because you could tell he was angry.
It is true.
Yeah, it is.
He's right. Mm-hmm. It's just a nicer way of
yes,
saying
it is.
it.
Yeah. He didn't care about a nicer way.
I'm 38 years old. Do you have any advice for me at this point in my life?
Nope. I don't give advice because what might be good for me doesn't necessarily mean it'll be good for you.
I like hearing other people's perspectives.
The only thing my mother told me one time, and I try to handle that, is don't be mean to anybody. Don't be purposely mean to anyone, no matter what they do to you. And I've tried to hold true to that because it is nicer if you get along with folks. And some of them it's hard, but the hardest one's my younger brothers. You know, if I can manage with him, I can manage with most anyone.
Are there any other stories you like to tell about yourself? Anything else we should talk about?
I did a lot of fun things, nothing I could be put in jail for. I was just very careful about that.
Did you have a best friend growing up?
Mm-hmm. We met in kindergarten, and she's still my best friend.
What's her name?
Ginny. Virginia Ann.
What are some things you and Ginny used to get into?
Nothing. We were pure, innocent little angels, just little sweethearts.
I don't know why, but I have a hard time believing you.
Well, I think it's interesting because we both had brothers the same age, and neither one of us liked our older brothers because they were mean. They wouldn't let us go with them when they went places and, that kind of stuff. And how cruel can you get to a poor little girl? But yeah, we're still friends.
That's wonderful.
It is. It's really nice. Her husband knows, oh my gosh, he's crazy than an outhouse rat. My name is Betty Lou. And when I go to visit them, he just bellers, Baloo is here. And I mean, it's his voice. I said, Kenny, people are going to think my name is Blue. Well, they do. I told them that was your name. Thanks, Ken.
We are at the end of our manicure.
Oh, I rather like that.
Thank you. Me too. I really enjoyed talking to you and getting to know you today. Thank you for doing this with me.
Oh, you're quite welcome. It was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you for listening to Manny's with Grannies. I hope you enjoyed learning about someone else and maybe even learned a little about yourself.